Hi everyone, welcome back to 140,000 Rogue Trader. We're here, going to Dargonus to see about sorry, I had a brain fart. Abelard's family troubles. I did level everybody up. These are the standard people I always take. And just to take you through these level ups I did. So for Olafar it was 2 levels. Exploit weakness. When you attack targets that have their armor reduced by any effects done by anybody, did plus 10 damage. Or when you attack someone that has deflection reduced by any effects, it's plus 2 damage. And more agility, some awareness, and then deadly aim. If the dodge reduction is higher than enemy's dodge, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it's going to work or not. I've got it for the Jai, or was it for Pascal? I had it as well. Heinrichs, 2 levels again. Strange vitality. If buffs anyone, they get plus 5 toughness for each of these effects. Combat Master, can't believe I hadn't had that before. But yeah, so it doesn't get debuffed if you're surrounded in melee. Xenos, and a tricky defense, which who did get that for? Argento, I think. So his dodge has gone up by 19%. I will get it for Earlet as well, so at some point. Ideal inspiring trophy. I mean, kill a prey that's difficulty 4 or higher, get an extra 2 AP. Willpower, Xenos, and Cataclysm. Haven't done that. Again, that can saw her roughly a couple of episodes ago. Been looking for the door in the visions. She can do some damage if she's buffed up. And then Abelard. I guess we're going to have to take with us. We've got Defensive Comrade. We've got 1 ally in 2 cell radius. He gets plus 12% parry. His parry is 95 at the moment. It's going to go up. Weapon skill training, Law Imperium, and peak condition. Gets a bonus of strength equal to 20% of their maximum wounds. See, that's plus 30. And if it gets buffed, that's got to go up even more. And if I do what was Cassia's buff on them? Cassia's features. It is a navigator one. Very cool buff. Where are you? Can't see it. One line influence. Okay. Can't see it now. Still resolve? No. That's just extra resolve, isn't it? Yeah. No. Range vitality? No. Can't bloody see it now. It's one of her things she took. It's on her hotbar. Oh, when we get into the on the ground, we'll have a look at her. Who shan't I take? Who can I leave behind? Earlier, I think. Oh no, and it's Jai I'm leaving behind. I guess so. I guess so. It's always good to have Cassia for debuff, Pascal for tech, and logic. There's 2 officers. Argenta's a good enough sniper for clearing trash, and we have early for massive one-shot single target. And dead people. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand aside. Don't use the crowd around. Governor Drystone will take care of everything. This is ridiculous. Such a thing happening right in the Rogue Trader's palace. Who's been killing people? It's not shooting at me this time. Warden. You're confronted by the sight of dead bodies at the entrance to the palace. The corpses have been hauled into a pile, some are dressed in uniforms of the palace wardens, while others are arrayed in the clothing typical of Dargonus nobility. Upon seeing you, the young enforcer snaps at attention and swallows noisily. His voice trembles as he says, "Your ladyship, we are honoured by your presence." Examine the assailants. Observation. They are rare, high-functioning servitor specimens present among the expired units. Such specimens are traditionally bestowed upon the noble houses that are most loyal to the sacred fellowship of the Adeptus Mechanicus. That's, drive stems here. There's gapraks and soubacks. Okay. The cosmetics of the deceased do differ from the implants ordinary people wear. The intricate construction makes it clear that the deceased were not ordinary humans. Abelard frowns. As far as I know, House Gaprak has received such servitors from the Crimson Priesthood as gifts in the past, although this is my first time seeing one myself. Point at the dead bodies. What is this mess? You see, your ladyship, these people want to attack. The warden clears his throat. Second Lieutenant of the Palace Guard, Elam White, reported. Shortly before he arrived, we averted an assassination attempt on the rogue trader. The palace soldiers detected intruders and engaged them in combat. Where's the court chancellor? Clementia Verserian. I think she is with the rest of House Werserian, detained in the throne room, that is. Governor Drystem has gathered all of Dargonus nobility there to pronounce a guilty verdict against House Werserian. Why is he not here to greet me? I do not know, your ladyship. Perhaps he is. He throws a fearful gaze at Abelard. You can probably find him in the throne room. The governor intends to put House Werserian on trial. I must take my leave. Okay, so what's that?
Guide humanity between the stars.
This. Reveal the light. Plus 44. And she gets... Well, I've seen her with willpower of 200. That'll go up to 80. But I think 75 willpower and toughness. Which for him...
What advice do you seek?
Will have loads more health, which then he'll have a lot more strength, a lot more damage in combat. Okay, awareness.
I have learned much in my exile.
There's a crumpled up letter in the side pocket of Saint Bloodstone jacket. Where? The bodies bear multiple wounds. It's evident they died recently.
Or get left in the dust.
Where's the letter? Oh, it's here. Oh, it's notable. The letter is soaked with blood. Only a portion of the text is readable through the crimson blotches. Full and discreet. Keep away from the lords and ladies. You must look like a noble to the servants and wardens. Do not engage in conversation with anyone. Your task is to avoid exposing yourself ahead of time and let the Werserians get away while the wardens are busy guarding the rogue trader. That's strange. I'm not going to wear that, am I? No. So I might as well just add that to... Okay. Was that as good as you? 65. Not as much. It's range or deflection. Against area. This is slightly better, I think. Don't have the fellowship, but you do have, and it's one less deflection, but extra armor. It's better. Oh, his health went up by 1. Was it always that? Maybe. Oh, toughness went up, that's why. Okay. That is a thing. Greetings, your ladyship. Pass towards the starting guards, your ladyship. No one disturb you and your guests from now on. Okay. So, a coup? Internal politics? Or trying to overthrow my position and try to blame Abelard's family? Or is Abelard's family to blame? Or was it self-defense if they were? Okay. And the aristocrats, what are they saying? On the Werserians of the guard in the throne room. My gut tells me more blood will be spilt again before long. How exciting. Can I kill them? No, just shoot them.
I have a feeling that the Lord Captain's involvement in Incendia Chorda's downfall will not soon be forgotten.
If the fallen monkey's descendants come after the Elantark, the bloody cycle will continue. Life after life, generation after generation, until one side ceases to exist.
Nah. With this squad, I just kill them all.
Is there money to be made?
Yeah. Caprak aristocrat.
Let us not dawdle.
Must be praying or something. Okay. Go and get a something down here.
Keep your wits about you.
I thought I was going to say the same thing. Yeah.
Always keep your eye on the prize.
Nobody hiding away in here.
I always keep my options open.
Excuse me. No snarky comments from earlier in this room. No. It's not interactable anymore either. Might be a special map.
Is there money to be made?
Let me through at a point with the Chancellor, Clementia Werserian. My apologies, my lord, but you cannot go further. Governor Drystem's orders. This is ridiculous, I shall complain. Yes, you should. To the governor, not to me. Move over, let a ladyship through. Yes, peasants. I humbly beg your pardon, your ladyship. Your ladyship, please, this way. Governor Ubend Drivestem. Your ladyship, 'tis an honour. Governor Ubend Drivestem seems to materialise out of thin air. So suddenly does he emerge from the crowd. Where is he? Right in there. I regret that unfortunate circumstances have occasioned the rogue trader's visit to the capital. Clementia tries to take a step forward, but a warder nearby stops her. Her face is veiled with fear and weariness. Your ladyship, you are here. Please, you must hear us out. The rogue trader is undoubtedly here to listen to the testament of each and every one of us, and to punish the traitors. The governor's words directed at Clementia are harsh. They are echoed by scornful sneers and whispers of the assembled nobles. Yeah, this is them posh bastards not liking someone's actually doing honest work. Abelard, we have known each other for how many decades now? We've had our fair share of disagreements, but do you really think my flesh and blood would trample upon the very definition of honour and loyalty? Abelard's voice is quivering with rage. The governor sweeps his gaze over Abelard, then replies, a faint shadow of doubt in his voice. We have evidence implicated him, Abelard. I'm sure that her ladyship will arrive at a fair ruling. What are the charges against House Werserian? Disruption of logistical lines, bribery of Adeptus Administratum officials, document forgery, and organisation of heretical insurrections. On top of the evidently devastating economic impact this has had on your protectorate, these criminal acts have impeded the delivery of imperial tithe, which in turn has drawn the Administratum's attention. An esteemed member of the Adeptus Arbites is expected to arrive in Dargonus shortly, and before they do, we are obliged to identify and punish those responsible. Clementia, I wish to hear your account. Your ladyship, House Werserian denies all charges laid against it. Clementia glances at the governor with defiance. These last few months have indeed been trying for Dargonus. We have done our best to remedy the situation. My family's every effort was focused on stabilising the capital's logistics and economy, so much that we failed to notice the web of intrigue unfolding behind our backs. Okay, well at least you're honest to realise that. There's nothing to hide. What happened on Dargonus in my absence? The governor. When we caught wind of the rumours of your disappearance, we patiently awaited news of your return. Then Dargonus was struck by a series of terrible events. The first was the sabotage of logistics that hampered shipments. Then mass unrest spread across the entire planet, and the minor noble houses began squabbling among themselves, trying to pin the blame on their rivals. We took great pains to calm them down and managed to quash the revolt, though not without some outside help, unfortunately. These events have also been overshadowed by the, I'm ashamed to say it even aloud in front of you, your ladyship, the rumours circulating amongst the higher houses. The governor stammers and takes a deep breath. Some are calling for Theodore's true heir to be installed as head of your house, Conrad Voidvier. Not all your subjects have forgotten his past efforts for the benefit of the trade protectorate. Drivestem stops talking, watching you with a tense expression. When the investigation was launched, the evidence led us to the Werserians. Oh, you'd rather have a confirmed traitor and heretic. Why the dead bodies at the entrance to my palace? Your ladyship, I humbly beg your pardon. Bows once again trying to placate you. You see, right before your arrival, the palace guard discovered a plot to assassinate you. Fortunately, the malefactors were disposed of before they could cause you any harm. Drivestem, you aren't accusing one of the Dargonus' leading noble houses of treason without airtight evidence, are you? Of course I had evidence, your ladyship. The investigations established that members of the Werserian family, which is responsible for both Dargonus' fleet and its logistics, used their contacts and influence to forge a host of documents in order to undermine the planet's supply routes and economy, thus fomenting unrest amongst the inhabitants. Allow me to introduce my son, Cornelius. The governor points towards a lanky young man standing beside him. He bows curtly, but avoids meeting your eye. Cornelius holds a prestigious position at the Administratum Palace, and thanks to him we managed to identify and trace the entire chain of forged documents. The investigation led us to the perpetrators, who admitted to acting on the orders of members of House Werserian. It was they who were intent on spreading the idea of restoring the title of the rogue trader to the true heir. Well, if he's working at the Administratum, he could be behind it. Or he could just have uncovered something else that was trying to lay the blame on the Werserians. Cassia, this young man is shrouded in a mist of grey and blue. Sickly shadows of fear are fluttering around him. Cassia speaks so quietly that only you can hear her. The Governor again. I remind you the House Werserian has hardly covered itself in glory in the past, as allowed Xenos to attack the planet. Governor Drivestem throws a quick, arrogant glance at red-faced Clementia. Speak to the heads of the houses present. Do you support the Governor's accusations? The aristocrats and tenants exchange glances, noble lords averting their gazes, noble ladies hiding behind the fans. No one is willing to be the first to answer, of course not. Macarius Sauerback. Over his many years of service, Governor Drystam earned Theodora's trust, and he holds high office for a reason. Sauerback's tone is stern and imperious. On behalf of House Sauerback, I support his accusations. Toriana Gaprak. Your Ladyship, Governor Drystam has always faithfully served the rogue traders of House von Valancius, and confirmed himself with the future of your trade dynasty, and so, House Gaprak thinks his charges against House Werserian to be sound. Dogmatics hide Toriana's emotion, but her voice sounds slightly timorous. Werserian, Clementia. I humbly ask you to allow me to speak in defence of my family's honour. The evidence provided by the Governor is utterly false. I cannot refute it, but can say with confidence that no one from my family has ever tried to forge documents in Adeptus Administratum, let alone undermine the economy of your capital. Sabotage and logistics, riots, conspiracy. The case appears to be flimsy. I wish to learn more before I make my final decision. As you wish, Your Ladyship. The Governor inclines his head in a stiff bow. Speak to me when you're ready to announce your verdict. Thank you for your willingness to help, Lord Captain. I'm certain that all the charges are false, and be grateful for your help in exposing them as such. I think you should speak to everyone present, the noble lords and ladies. Okay, so who done it? Who do we have? Gaprax. The lords and ladies, sumptuously dressed in the colours of House Gaprak, are standing in a half circle around Toriana and her son Vincent. Or Vicent, not Vincent. Is it Vincent? Or Vicent? Can't see now. The bodies and faces of almost every member of this dynasty are covered in large, ornate augmatics. Toriana Gaprak curtsies to you. Her mechanical voice sounds distant and indifferent. Greetings, Your Ladyship. May the Omnissiah grant you understanding. With a click, Visor Oculus swivels to the Seneschal. Abelard, it must be difficult for you to be here under these circumstances, with your house standing accused of such grave crime. My family, Lady Toriana, is yet to be found guilty of anything. That verdict is for the rogue trader to reach. Do you think the accusations against the Werserian family are true? I will not take such a responsibility upon myself and rule on your guilt, Your Ladyship, but do think Governor Drystam's accusations are worthy of consideration, however. In your opinion, which nobles might have reason to be party to such a conspiracy? Everybody else apart from her, I guess. She thinks for several moments before replying. Pardon my bluntness, Your Ladyship, but I will answer truthfully. It could be anyone. Greed, fear, and ideals can drive in the most loyal subjects to do the unthinkable. I've examined the bodies of the assailants that were killed today. All of them were high-functioning servitors. Such servitors are only employed by families close to the Adeptus Mechanicus, isn't that so? It's impossible to read Toriana's emotions in a heavily augmented face, but a sudden turn toward her family betrays confusion and surprise. Perplexed whispers bounce from one family member to another. Impossible. Came here by ourselves, without any servitors. We know nothing about it. I guess that's honesty. Your Ladyship, thank you for informing us of this. You're absolutely right. My house has indeed been endowed by high-functioning servitors. A blessing for those who revere the Omnissiah, but today, none of our house members were accompanied by them. I found this note on the bodies of one of the attackers. What are your thoughts on it? Toriana's mechanical fingers grip the paper. Officially, high-function servitors are employed by my house and my house alone. If such units were to attack the rogue trader, suspicion would instantly fall upon the Gapraks. I assume this is what the Werserians intended to happen, but they did not expect that the servitors would have this letter on them. Well, this is meant to be found that way. Listen, I want to speak to you. This is Vicent. What did you serve, your lordship? How may I help you? What do you make of the charges against the Werserian family? Could they truly be guilty? I do not think I can doubt the validity of the accusations, but his voice trails off. He seems to retreat into himself for a moment. Before continuing, he takes a deep breath. I am also not so sure that House Werserian had a reason to betray you, your lordship. I do not know of any instance where their loyalty to you and the Emperor was anything less than unwavering. I know you care for Astarte of Werserian. Are you prepared to watch her die? Vincent's jaw automatic screeches slightly. The young man scrutinizes his mother and other family members for a few moments. There is something you ought to know, your ladyship. Today I noticed that one of my family members said to be in an odd, uncharacteristic mood, hailing Gaprak as my paternal second cousin once removed, may the Emperor save his soul. Usually reserved and self-possessed, today he was frantic and anxious, fidgeting with a small piece of paper and seemingly looking for someone to no avail. When I last saw him, he was headed to the entrance hall where the altars are. Perhaps you should talk to him. Okay. Was he the one that was downstairs near the... way upstairs, I said. It was like he's praying near an altar. That'll do. Vincent inclines his head in a respectful bow. I should take my leave. Now let's go around this room before I go back down.
Let us not dawdle.
Report on current actions. Data extraction from the memory repository of the servitor will take 3 standard Terran cycles. Data decoding will take 30 standard Terran cycles. The quiet hum and the servo motors is occasionally interrupted by clicking coming from somewhere inside the servitor. Right, let's have a look at these miserable sourback bastards. Before bowing, Sourback scrutinizes you with a bitter, judgmental look. Your ladyship. Etka. There's one of them, probably that one. That's Regina, isn't it? Etka Sourback, looking like a younger copy of his father, stands a slight distance closer to his mother. Remembers him. An expensive yet understated dress serves to highlight the dazzling beauty of Makaris' wife, Regina Sourback. Sourback stares at Erliet with revulsion flickers across his face. Yeah? Look closely at Macarius. Despite Sourback's attempts to suppress his revulsion, the presence of inhumans in your retinue undoubtedly reflects his fervent desire to eliminate the enemies of humanity. Do you really believe Werserians are guilty? Certainly, Sourback replies without hesitation. Governor Drystem possesses proof of their guilt. I have no means by which to refute it. Even if I were to entertain the idea that Werserians are being framed, how much longer would their houses have lasted anyway? They were so ill prepared for treachery. Excuse me. The addresses Abelard was slightly mocking tone. Let me drink some water. My advice to House Werserian would not be appealed to the rogue trader for help, but had to simply stop, accept their fate, and not make matters worse for themselves. Abelard. I cannot remember Jellyman Savant Valencia seeking your advice on what House Werserian should do in this situation. Pay attention, Makaris. Focus on the rogue trader's questions. Nice pot down, Abelard. Throw some fucking shade on the cunt. Here apart from Werserians because of a motive to conspire against me. House Drivestem wishing to expand their clout. House Gaprak, who lost their influence after Kiavagama. Sourback looks back at his family, then turns to you again. House Sourback, whose patriarch is too direct in his communication with the rogue trader. Anyone could have a reason to conspire against you, and equally they could have none. It's not a question of motive, but of loyalty. Each of your subjects has sworn an oath of loyalty to you, so whose sincerity do you doubt? Do my companions distress you, Saurback? Saurback's face turns red, his furious gaze trained upon you. Free-flowing rage boils in every word he says. The rogue trader is a chosen servant of the Emperor and one of humanity's best. By surrounding yourself with depraved Xenos who scorn the very exceptionalism of humankind, you teeter on the brink of heresy, and no privilege granted by the Emperor can blind others to the fact. The thought of existing in the same sector as Xenos is revolting, but their presence in your retinue here, the capital city of Von Valence's trading dynasty, enrages me. You have Xenos sullying the streets of this planet after what we endured, and under protection of the rogue trader no less. He takes a deep breath and exhales noisily. His rage subsides, but his burning gaze remains fixed on you. He's just a gammon. He doesn't see the difference between Erlet Eldari and Drukhari, even though they're related, being completely separate culture, point of view, depravity. Regina, with a pained and stressed expression, Regina glances at her husband, her hands worrying the ruffles of her dress. Your unveiled hatred for me is obvious, Saurback. It is grounds enough to charge you with heresy. I am hearing this from you, the Emperor's servant who flouts all that is sacred, the person who seems to think the laws of Imperium are meaningless. Macarius, now's the time you do well to stop and not make matters worse for yourself, says Abelard. I just like winding them up, seeing them explode like old gammons. The assailants sent to the palace were rare, high-functioning servitors. Do you think Gapax could be behind the attack? Saurback looks away briefly and replies to you with a curt laugh. I always thought too weak to participate in such risky ventures, but it seems I was wrong about her. Okay. So Saurbacks. I don't know what's wrong with my throat the last 20 minutes. I was fine before I started talking.
Rise to the top, or get left in the
There's
dust.
the drive stems. Oh, what's that? I can hear chug 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 chug. That there. Right then, drive stems. Let's see what bullshit you're talking. Cornelius, Governor. Governor Drivestem is surrounded by his retinue, who are all dressed in expensive gowns of finery. The matching colour scheme of the outfits and striking physical resemblance among them suggests they came all from one family. Your Ladyship, thank you for giving this case your undivided attention. The Governor bows, and the rest hasten to follow suit. I wish to hear your reason again. What makes you think the Werserians are behind the plot against me? As soon as the logistical and economic problems gave rise to the initial rumours, we tried to find the person responsible for spreading the cause of Whitebeard's return. The investigation showed that some of the documents inside the Adeptus Mechanicus were forgeries, or Adeptus Administratum were forgeries. May thank my son Cornelius for such astute observations. Cornelius, your Ladyship. A slender young man bows to you awkwardly and nervously licks his dry lips. I assure you that my humble person is undeserving of your attention. Urban carries on. Cornelius holds a prestigious position at the Administratum Palace. It was he who discovered the errors leading to the disrupted logistics. It is also thanks to him that we found the perpetrators of the forgeries, who admitted to acting on the orders of House Werserian. What do you make of this letter? I found it on one of the assailants. Governor Drystem paced closely at the blood-stained paper. It looks like another piece of evidence incriminating House Werserian. A bit too obvious, though. Perhaps they truly did intend to kill you, or at least cause a stir to help them escape custody during the confusion that followed. All of the assailants were high-functioning servitors. Such servitors are only employed by families close to the Adeptus Mechanicus. High-functioning servitors? Drivestem ponders this, rubbing his chin with his thumb. Such servitors are indeed rare. The Gapax do have them in their service. But this could have been done intentionally with an eye to confusing you. Anyone with the desired sufficient funds can hire them. Could it be the Werserians? Could be you? Could be the Saurback? Could it be Gapax? Could it be the Cult of the Final Dawn? Tell me more about your son who drives them. Thank you for your interest, your ladyship, but I am not worthy of it. The governor's son bows and stands still as he nervously stares down at the floor. Son, show due respect. Forgive him, your ladyship. This is the first time he has had the honour of attracting the attention of the rogue trader. Tell me more about your job, Cornelius. What do you do? I manage the documents and records related to the economy of Dargonus. You probably know how scrupulous the workers of the Adeptus Administratum are. I'm afraid that a more detailed explanation of my duties would mirror the administrative process administratum, too long and overly detailed. Cornelius tries to look me in the eye, but it's clearly hard for him to do so. How did you manage to find the forged documents in the bureaucratic hell that is the Administratum? When compiling reports on the last cycle's supply chain, I noticed inaccuracies and discrepancies in the figures. With the help of the other clerks, I managed to find several other documents. He stammers and swallows noisily. Comprehensive data analysis shows that the discrepancies were caused by intentional tampering with the data, thus leading to some logistical problems that were practically unsolvable. Father and I managed to single out administrative clerks responsible for tampering with the data. Following a heated interrogation, it's got it wrong, it's not him, it's still the son. They confessed that they were following the orders of someone from House Werserian. Everything was supposed to look as though they were the ones suffering losses from logistical and economic problems. But does House Werserian have access to Adeptus Administratum? There's no conceivable way they could do all this in a place where they don't hold any power. Before replying, the governor's son nervously adjusts his expensive frock coat. I think the right amount of money can open any door. Cornelius, what's the true reason of your nervousness? The young man's pupils suddenly dilate. He stands at attention and replies to you in one breath. This is the first time I've spoken face to face with a rogue trader. I'm afraid of saying something wrong or forgetting something important. The governor watches his son closely. His tone changes, now sounding strict and curt. Do you wish to tell the Lord Captain anything else? Place your hand on your weapon. You're speaking to a rogue trader and my patience is running out. You see a flash of terror in Cornelius' eyes as he stares at your hand on your weapon. He speaks quietly and confusedly, without raising his head. Forgive me, your ladyship. I can't do it anymore. This lie has gone too far. I can no longer control it. The truth is that all the logistical problems were caused by a single error in the numbers. My mistake. Governor Urban tries. What? He looks genuinely shocked and enraged. When I discovered my mistake, it was almost impossible to restore the supply lines. Then I was approached by someone who said they were a friend. They did not give me their name and never saw their face. They promised to fix the problem. All they did was pretend that the Werserians were responsible for the mistake. And as for the rest of the evidence, they promised to arrange it all and he is suffocating with fear, unable to speak. The governor. Urban curls his hands into fists, his knuckles turning white. What have you done? How could you? Your ladyship. He suddenly turns to you as if trying to shield his son. This is my fault. I trusted my son. I've failed you in doing so. I beg you have mercy. Now he is properly mortified. He had no idea about this. Abelard shakes his head. And you called my family's honour into question, Urbend. Nonetheless, I harbour no desire to kick Emmanuel's down. Lord Captain, the confession you have obtained means the House of Werserian can now be cleared of all charges. What is this friend that approached you, Cornelius? How did the two of you communicate? By letter. I want to know who... he made a mistake. Or someone took advantage of it. No, someone else came in. One of the other houses, maybe, over there. And tried to twist it. Blackmailing him against Abelard. By letter. I received a letter out of the blue one day. It was unsigned, but the person writing already knew about my erroneous calculations. They offered to help me cover up my misdeed, and in return, I would name the Werserians as the one who sabotaged their supply lines. All I had to do was gather together some documents and reports that were listed in one of the letters, and keep my mouth shut. No, Ben, your son has found the courage to admit his mistake. I will try and find some compassion in my heart for him. Thank you, your ladyship. The gunner bows low. That gives his son a look of full look of bitterness and frustration. As for your position, I think you will be reassigned to a role requiring less responsibility. I shall return to you later. Okay. I got that, I'll talk to these up here now.
Always keep your eye
Got
on
that guy
the
outside
prize.
praying to talk to. Talk to Clementia and Astatia. As you draw closer, the wardens step aside, bowing respectfully, allowing you to approach the Werserian family. Clementia, tired and slightly dishevelled, is the first to bow her head to you in deference. Several men and women behind her follow suit. Your ladyship, the woman stammers as if lost for words. Accept my most humble apologies for failing to greet you properly, and my thanks for agreeing to speak with me before making your final decision. The charges brought by the governor are severe, but I can only assure you of this and swear in my own honour. We are not guilty of the crimes that House of Werserian has been accused of. What about the conversation we just had? Okay. Clementia. A hint of sorrow creeps into Abelard's voice belying his stern facade. We know they're not guilty. Well, not of the insurrection and stuff. You are acting head of this family. You're supposed to take care of each and every family member. And now you're being accused of treason and collusion against the road trader. An entire family is facing death. How could you let this happen? Okay. Maybe I should have talked to these first. Are you truly guilty? Be honest, I will not tolerate lies. Clementia, if you know that member of your family is guilty of the crimes you're being accused of, Abelard, it is your family too, you know. The woman's words burn with defiance. My apologies. I shall not lose my composure. No member of House Werserian is involved in a conspiracy against her ladyship. Honour and loyalty are not something we take lightly, and we know whom we serve. The governor claims you forged documents, but we know that's a lie. The fleet is the primary remit of House Werserian. It's our responsibility. Logistics and supply routes are another area of our responsibility. We have no direct influence on the inner workings of Adeptus Administratum. The first large-scale deliveries were cancelled after quantities of food were miscalculated by clerks of the Administratum. Then we were faced with incorrect weather data and meagre fuel budget. It was clear this was all cause. Clear as what the cause of all these problems was the calculations performed in the Administratum, in one way or another. But no matter how many times we asked, we could not obtain any clarification on the matter. I found this letter on one of the bodies of the heretics who planned the attack. What can you tell me about it? While Clementia reads the letter, the Werserians behind her read it over her shoulder. Your ladyship, let us be frank. It would be foolish of me to try to orchestrate something like this. Knowing how many wardens are patrolling your palace, I would not have let myself or any one of my family get involved in such a scheme. The attackers were high-functioning servitors, ones that look closer to ordinary humans. Do you know anything about them? Servitors, is that so? Clementia crosses her arms and furrows her brow, deep in thought. I've encountered servitors that were indistinguishable from normal augmented humans, but only once. They were accompanied several members of House Gaprak, and they admitted that they do have them. But they didn't bring them with them. And then DriveStem says anybody can buy them. If you're not guilty, who is? Who stands to gain from framing you? Anyone, really, she replies with a bitter laugh. The other houses consider us unworthy of our position, and many would jump at the chance to get rid of us and gain control over what once was our domain. The planet's fleet and logistics at the very least. Lady Theodora chose to grant noble status to House Werserian, but the other houses which served in the Expanse for millennia did not welcome the decision. It has led to some difficulties. I want to find out what's going on here and who the real mastermind behind all this is. Where should I start? I'm afraid I can't be of much help. Talk to the representatives of other houses, eavesdrop on their retinue. Perhaps you'll hear something unusual. Okay. Yes, the setup of
Keep your wits about you.
who. I don't think it's fully drive stem. It's too obvious for them to be with their servitors. That's too obvious. And he's admitted making mistakes and the forgeries. Which points the finger over here. Now let's go and talk to this guy outside.
Have a backup plan.
Who was he? Down here, wasn't he? Yeah, there he is. Galen Gaprak. It's got a name now. It was just Gaprak
I always
Noble
keep
or something,
my
wasn't it?
options open.
A finely dressed man in middle years is kneeling in front of the altar, his palms folded in prayer close to his face. The implant-free parts of his skin are sickly blue colour. Okay. The nobleman does not react to your presence. He does not lift his head. He does not blink. He does not even breathe. Only when you draw close do you realise that he is dead. Abelard looks at the man, his eyes grim. The colours of House Gaprak, I do not believe he decided to take his own life in such an extravagant way. As far as I know, there's a warden post here, but I do not see any wardens. Sensual looks around. There was no one to ask about what happened here or with whom this man spoke before he died. I would like to ask Urband where the palace guards suddenly disappeared to. Examine the body. There are no visible wounds on the body, but near the edge of the gold-trimmed collar is a tiny puncture in his skin, likely a wound caused by a thin needle. Right then, Pascal, here's your chance. Yay! Death came from suddenly, quite easily passed, and ravaged his body with cramping spasms that prevented him from falling to the ground. Some rare poisons have such side effects. The affected victim suffocates slowly without being able to move or call for help. Search the pockets. Discover a secret pocket in the line of the dead man's luxurious jacket. You find a folded piece of paper inside, hiding behind a handkerchief embroidered with the initials HG. That's thingy Gaprak, isn't it? Look around. No one's certain that wardens are usually stationed nearby, but the post is empty. Where have they gone? This would be an excellent question to put to Governor Drivestem. Okay. Let's have a look at this note. Make sure that the rogue trader is attacked by someone loyal. It would appear as if it was all staged to let the Werserian family escape. This is the last assignment. Soon your debt will be paid off in full. And that's HG. So a Hector or a Hecate or whatever his name was. So maybe it was a combination of these two. Oh, that's recent. H is here, Hector. Anything new here? Talking about the dead one. I discovered the dead body at the end of your house, right here in my palace. He died kneeling in prayer. Tariana covers her mouth with a hand in surprise and turns to her family, looks for someone among them. Halen? It can't be. Halen, was it? Tell me about him, Tariana. Halen is one of the lower ranking members of the House Gaprak. Despite his advanced age, he never held high office. But he was forever striving to better his position, even beyond his abilities. Many members of my house struggled to cope with the misfortune that befell Kiara Gamma and our family. Some members cannot reconcile themselves to a new position. Halen was one of them. What could have happened to him? Challenger's visor's oculars are fixed on the floor, her fingers restlessly clenching the fabric of her dress. Tariana, the time to keep silence long gone. The future of the Von Valance's trade dynasty and your house are both at stake now. We lost Kiara Gamma, a truly devastating blow to every member of House Gaprak. I lost all hope for the future, and my kin lost their sense of purpose. We needed time to recover and chart a new course for ourselves. We were and still are more than capable of doing that, but I will not deny it. The other houses have suffered offered us their assistance for their own self-serving ends. Perhaps Halen decided to take up them on one of their offers behind my back. The Sancho bows ever so slightly and speaks quietly so only you can hear. Lord Captain, Gapraks, all, perhaps only some of them, are definitely involved. But I suspect they were not behind the plot against you. Halen Gaprak could be nothing more than a puppet in the hands of a deft puppet master. We must expose whoever that is if we are to prevent the pestilence of heresy from spreading any further. What do you suggest? Excuse me. You already have ground to suspect House Sarabak of the conspiracy and orchestrated an attempt on your life. Do I? John Drysem's delusion to unjustly accuse Hasfasir also casts doubt on his competence. Tell him that you already pronounced your verdict, but before you do so, I suggest focus on each house in your indictment speech, and I shall observe them. Now, I've known these people far longer than you have. I know all their gestures, habits, and behavioural quirks. I'm sure that I'll be able to determine which of them was responsible for the riots based on their behaviour. I didn't show the note. Talk to her again. No, I didn't get a chance to say that. What about
Keep your eye
over
on the
here?
prize.
Didn't ask her about the debt. Discovered the dead body by a palace. A man of House Gaprak was killed while praying to the Emperor. He had this note on him. Do you know anything about it? Macaris looks at the note without taking it from your hands and replies without hesitation. No, I know nothing of this note. How about you? No. Maybe you again? So the attackers. No.
Keep your wits about you.
Let's talk to Governor. Did you see Makari Sarabak today before I arrived? Makari, I did not see myself, but perhaps. Turns around, that's his family. Have any of you seen him today? The nobles talk quietly amongst themselves. Then a middle-aged woman with a tall, extravagant hairstyle replies to you. I think my sister and I saw him sitting on the bench some distance away from the palace's entrance. We think he was accompanied by a gentleman, but forgive us, your ladyship, we cannot make out his face. Lead me to that place. Of course, consider it done. Over here, is it?
What a peculiar thing.
I saw Laz Sabak conversing with someone here, your ladyship.
A trivial task.
I recognise this bouquet. House Sabak usually serves this wine. It was an honour to assist you. Okay. So Makaris was talking to Sabak. Well, he's a Sabak, isn't he? I found a dead body in the palace. A member of House Gapak was slain in front of the altar. Do you know anything about it? A member of House Gapak was killed in the palace. His eyes bulged in surprise, and no one noticed, but how there were wardens posted at every altar. There was no one near the deceased. The warders left the post. Did you order them to do so? Emperor obeys your ladyship. The governor helplessly throws up his hands in the air as if to signify his powerlessness. Oh, he's got his son lying to him, and now this. Your negligence is stunning, Urban. An assassin attempt followed by a mysterious death, and yet here you are, oblivious to everything. The rogue trader can justly accuse you of allowing a noble to be killed in the palace, and failing to even notice it. It may be so, but it's for the rogue trader to accuse me of negligence, not you. It addresses you once more. Your Lordship, accept my deepest apologies for my imprudence. Nothing matters more to me than my honour. I shall send the service to deal with this immediately. Okay. So who is Macarius talking to over there? Nothing. He smells of wine. Didn't ask her about the debts. Anything down here?
Let us not dawdle.
We're standing up again now. And can't interact with him. Okay, a bit of a bug. Let's go and talk to the Werserians. If they've got nothing new to say, let's see if Abelard can pick them out. I discovered the body of Halen Gaprak here in this palace. It has noted him. Do nothing about it. The younger members of the Werserian family crowd around to examine the note in Clementi's hands. All present are beset with worry and bewilderment. I'm not sure if it's relevant, perhaps you should know. Since the fall of Chaos Gamma, House Gaprak has been favouring poorly, to say the least. Let me just drink some more water. They've been looking for other ways to enhance their influence and to improve their lot, including asking for help from other noble houses. They have not approached us, of course. It's shameful to seek help from those you consider your inferiors, you understand. But perhaps the drive stems to Sarbax and tell you more about this matter. Oh, so nothing new there then. Okay. Let's assemble everyone.
I always have a backup plan.
Summon everyone. I'm ready to announce my verdict. Understood, your ladyship. Allow me to prepare everything. Let me get a throat lozenge on. Just a sec. Okay. Many faces are watching you, each and every one awaiting the rogue trader's verdict with bated breath. That's not bad. Yeah. The charges brought by Governor Drysdale were fabricated. As for saying nothing to do with the orchestration of the riots or the plot targeting the rogue trader. However, the real perpetrators are here in this very room. The seneschal nods to you as if urging you to continue, then shifts his piercing gaze to the crowd before you. Urban Drysdale, you've exhibited inexcusable negligence by failing to question the possible involvement of any other family besides Werserians. We've discovered the attempt. My life was orchestrated by a member of House Gaprak. What? That's not right. Well, yeah, I guess. I'm not sure if it's orchestrated though. It was actually, because he was told to get people to be loyal to do it, yeah. The governor closes his eyes, fear and shame getting the better of him. Some faces in the crowd look confused and surprised. They see more wearing expressions of self-satisfied contempt. Abelard looks from the governor to you and suddenly shakes his head to say, no, it's not Drivestem pulling the strings here. You've accused House Werserian of violations that in truth the result of a grave error committed by your son. The governor closes his eyes, fear and shame get the better of him. Yeah, same again. And same again. Tariana Gaprak, remember your family orchestrated an assassination attempt against me, here in my own palace, and though he's already been found dead, his act is reason enough to forever brand you, your house, as traitors. Mocking whispers creep through the crowd, Tona is trembling faintly. Still, she still does not raise her head, perhaps out of fear of meeting your fate, face to face. The sensual's hard gaze softens, an elusive gesture visible only to you conveys the message. Tariana Gaprak is guilty only for poor judgment. Akara Soundback, your overt contempt towards me is reason enough to implicate you in the conspiracy. The crowd remains silent, with only the tense, anxious gazes darting back and forth between you and Macarius. Soundback's brow is raised higher, and he notices his jaw working nervously. No, it's not him either. Abelard narrows his eyes and scrutinizes Macarius Soundback and his retinue standing behind him. For a second, his sharp eyes seems to have caught sight of something, only to lose track of it the next moment. A disappointed sigh tells you it could be a Soundback, but is he really the one behind this? Another house Soundback offered their help to Gapraks, and the late Halan Gaprak seemed to have accepted their offer. I suspect that you are responsible for his death as well. Soundback folds his brows and slightly cocks his head. He averts his gaze for the first time, as if trying to remember or make sense of something. You notice restless movements behind him. Abelard narrows his eyes and scrutinizes Macarius Soundback and his retinue standing behind him. His sharp eyes light up and he catches sight of something important and hidden in the crowd. Sensual looks at you and nods as if to say, the puppeteer has given himself away, pronounced the verdict. In the conspiracy against the rogue trader, I find. The air in the room is frozen in a tense, almost electrified silence. All the nobles, some with fear and some with reverent anticipation, await your verdict. How long have I been recorded? An hour already. Wow. Shall we leave a cliffhanger? No, I'm not going to leave a cliffhanger. House Soundback guilty. Sensual, you may take it from here. Abelard steps forward, giving the satisfaction. Abelard steps forward, stares intently at House Soundback's patriarch. Macarius, I must admit, I have always admired your bluntness, but just as I once had to say goodbye to promotion because of my dislike for intrigue, you and your family might soon say goodbye to your heads. Tell me now in your blunt fashion, are you loyal to House von Valancius?
What do they want, the Soundbacks?
Gammas Gapraks. The Soundbacks do it's not Janus, is it? It's is it Vebus or Foulstone? Is it the prison planet? Can't remember. Soundback narrows his eyes, grimacing. I am loyal, Werserian. Abelard studies Soundback. The son he nods. You're not lying, but somebody else is. Someone who's poised to destroy both you and your family for her own gain. Macarius does not have time to respond. Regina, who is standing beside him, raises her arm as if to slap the elderly seneschal. Abelard deftly catches her wrist, stopping her hand right in front of his face. Her dainty hand is adorned with a massive aromatic ring topped with a thin spike dripping with venom. She killed Gaprak. That's a dagger. Sauerbach shifted his confused gaze from his wife to Abelard, then back again. The stiff arrogance has vanished from his posture. Regina? You? Hetka? Mother? Upon realising what has happened, recoils from his mother. Macarius, your bluntness makes you an open book. When I talked about helping the Gapraks, you had no idea what I was referring to. Your wife, on the other hand, her eyes started shifting like you would not believe. Regina Sauerbach, you alone betrayed the rogue trader, jeopardizing the prosperity of the von Valancius trade dynasty, and you alone are responsible for your unmasking. Why did you do this? Like the spike in a ring, Regina's words are dripping with poison and rage. Because Dargonus is serving an impostor, the true heir of the Protectorate bears a different name. When Conrad appeared on Dargonus, he paid me a visit. I opened my eyes to the truth of the situation. Theodore was killed by the one of whom she had so unwillingly taken under her wing. Argenta. Macarius is too narrow-minded to even consider opposing the rogue trader, even an illegitimate one. So I had to wait for the right moment, and the disappearance of the Lord Captain could not have come at a better time. It's quite simple to trigger a chain of events on Dargonus so that the people remembered Master Voidvir's past service. It seems that many of your subjects do not actually consider yourself a worthy successor. Why the Werserians? Because stripped of the Seneschal's protection, this house is the weakest one in all of Dargonus. And they are also particularly disliked by the governor's family. It would have been easy to bury the Werserians under accusations of heresy. Who aided you? There's no way you could have managed this all on your own. Of course I didn't. I have too many helpers to list them all, but rest assured, there are plenty of them. Just as there's plenty of people who followed Master Voidvir. My death will not change anything. The true rogue trader will come and take his rightful place when the time is right. Call to the final dawn, eh? Why did you kill Halen Gaprak? Halen was a good agent, but he's also a coward. He came to me just before our formidable rogue trader arrived. He was ready to confess everything. I suggested that he plead for the Emperor's forgiveness first, and he did grant him mercy, did he not? Abelard, the sentence is yet to be carried out. Finish this. Abelard turns his gaze to you. Does the rogue trader condemn only the rotten apple, or the entire barrel? If I let them live, they'll be forever indebted to me. And they will always toe the line. I will not exterminate an entire noble lion that is loyal to me just because of one traitor. In that case, Regina Sauerbach shall be subjected to intense interrogation, followed by execution. By order of the rogue trader, Regina Sauerbach is sentenced to death for heresy and crimes against the von Valancius trade dynasty. And also... Also be called to the final dawn. Heretic traitor. That's like a cutscene of some mechadendrites slowly going into her abdomen. wonder what could have happened for the whole lot. When the nobles disperse, sated by their bloody performance, Abelard approaches you, his steps firm. Lord Captain, you have my thanks. A rogue trader should not waste their time in the matters of that servants justice can resolve. But in this case, your intervention was necessary, not just for the sake of my family, but for your trade dynasty as well. Regina Sauerbach, evidently Conrad's accomplices continue to plot against your protectorate. I fear we've not heard the last of such scoundrels. Wonder what would happen if you killed them all. Thanks to you, Lord Captain, House Werserian is saved, although it came close to being wiped out as a result of scheming, without imprudence within. Abelard pauses for a moment, staring off into the distance. Sometimes I think about how much I could teach them. I could ensure that they survive in the future without me. What are you going to do? I need time to reflect on what's happened and the role I played in it. I think I'll be ready to resume this conversation later when I'm back on board the ship. He bows to you deferentially and turns away, lost in thought. Well, that's a nice kind of whodunit. Change of pace. And I think I will end this episode here. It's already, what, an hour and 10 minutes long. Thanks for watching. That's slightly different. Sorry, my voice cracking up a few times and coughing. But that's the way it is. Oh, Heinrich's friends miss him. Because he earlier killed him. He was a traitor anyway. So yeah, thanks for watching and see you all in the next episode. Where I didn't get much experience for that. But that's okay. And I think we'll be probably heading off to Rebus 4 or 6, whatever it is. Because we've got something to do up there, haven't we? Yeah, Rebus 6. So, want to finish these? Yeah, I could do, I guess. But anyway, that's all for next episode. Thanks for watching. I'll see you then. Bye now.